So, welcome to everybody, and it's absolutely fantastic to see the amount of students and young people who are very interested in this area joining us today, because you will be the future managers of tourism, and hopefully the whole concept of sustainability is going to be second nature to your approach to the job of work you'll have in the future. Now, the Mayor gave a very, very comprehensive and thorough background to what we're trying to achieve really with this project. So what I will do is I'll skip all of the paragraphs that I had written as well, which are very similar to what the Mayor has covered, and I will go straight to try and give you some of the background into how we got to get to be where we are today with this great opportunity. So first of all, I wanted to read a quote from you from the Burn Community Group, which was set up in 1992 to provide alternatives to the Mullaghmore Visitor Centre issue. And this is a statement that was written by a group of people from the Burn, working with other people from various agencies, etc., around the country, with all the stakeholders effectively that have some element of work in the Burn, or some stake in the Burn. If we are to develop a sustainable form of tourism in the Burn, we must recognise and harmonise the needs of the three components in the tourism triangle: the visitor, the host community, and the host environment. Tourism must not be allowed to damage the environmental resource, prejudice its future enjoyment, or use or bring unacceptable environmental impacts. Equally, tourism must be developed as a positive activity with potential to benefit the host community, the place, and the visitor. This is in 1992. And a lot of, I suppose, projects and papers and research reports and discussions, etc., have ensued since then. But in 2006, Clare County Council applied for funding to the National Development Programme, which was operated by Fáilte Ireland, and succeeded in attracting quite a bit of funding into the area. So this initiated a more collaborative approach between agencies and local groups on the subject of sustainable tourism development. This particular initiative, which was called the Environmental Protection and Visitor Management Programme, and later became Burn Connect, was co-funded by Fáilte Ireland, Shannon Development, the Office of Public Works, the National Parks and Wildlife Service, the National Monument Service, Burn BO, and the Cliffs of Moher Visitor Experience. It became a Clare County Council function and was managed by representatives of these co-funders, but also an advisory group of local representatives from tourism, from farming, from transport, education, arts, and heritage. All of these stakeholders in the Burn were involved in the management of this project. And as the Mayor alluded to, the key focus of the project was to engage with local groups and communities on sustainable tourism development, whilst carrying out a series of infrastructural and awareness projects. Now, there were several developments that came directly out of this particular project, and I think the first one that we really need to talk to is about the development of the Burn Ecotourism Network, which we affectionately call BEN. This evolved out of many evenings of intense discussion with a group of 20 businesses who were nominated by open ballot. We did a very, democratic process in order to kind of select these 20 businesses, to form a working group with representatives of the various agencies and other stakeholders in the Burn. Terms of references, vision statements, a constitution, and managing executive, work programs, and working groups were formed. Certification was seen as an important aspect of the network, as a way of not only avoiding greenwashing, but really of setting standards, of generating quality. The early days were facilitated by the Burn Connect project, and funding was provided by Fáilte Ireland to pilot the Green Box certification programme, which is now Ecotourism Ireland. The network was launched in March 2010 with 18 businesses. Clare Local Development Company provided training and animation funds to grow the membership to 39, which included businesses also from Loophead, our neighbours down the road. And Green Hospitality certification was introduced. Fáilte Ireland continued to provide funding then for a website and for our marketing journey, which began, I guess, with the launch of the network. The second development was achieving global Geopark status, and this is after extensive local consultation. Now, the process was guided and supported by the Geological Survey of Ireland. They provided funding for us to be able to pursue this status. It's a status that's recognised by UNESCO. It is an award for regions with outstanding geological and cultural heritage. It's not just about rocks, it's about the people who live on the landscape as well. Where am I? Yeah, you see, my eyesight is a bit strange. I need to see you, but when I'm trying to read this, it's quite difficult. Here, I'll take them off altogether. So what it does is it utilises tourism to provide sustainable development in its regions. That's one of its key functions. And another important function is to carry out research, communicate knowledge, and encourage learning. And key areas are the impacts of natural hazards and of climate change as well. Now, it's part of a global network that includes places like Shilin in China, Katla in Iceland, the Azores in Portugal, Stonyhammer in Canada, and Uluru in Australia, and the Rift Valley in Africa are amongst the current applicants to become part of this global network. It is an international network of almost 100 members, full of possibility and opportunity. It's amazing the work that goes on within that network. But it has a compulsory sustainability program that is assessed in each geopark every 4 years. So we got the status in 2011, and our work is going to be assessed in 2015. And if we haven't progressed from where we were in 2011, you know, we will get a year in which we can develop it further. And if that doesn't happen, we can actually be asked to leave the network if they feel that we aren't genuinely accepting or implementing our sustainability ethos. And a number of geoparks have been asked to leave, actually. So they take this very seriously. So once we achieved the status, Burn Connect decided to operate under the Geopark banner. And the Ecotourism Network have joined us, and we now have agreed collectively to use the Burn and Cliffs of Moher Geopark brand, this brand here, as the destination brand, which represents destination built on sustainability, learning, and partnership. That's what that brand represents, and we need to protect the values of that brand very carefully now over the coming years. The third development was becoming involved in the Burn Charter process. This is an initiative funded by the Heritage Council, which facilitated a group of Burn organisations, including ourselves, Burn IFA, Burn Bio Trust, Burn Farming for Conservation, the Heritage Office from Clare County Council and from Galway County Councils. And we engaged in a series of extensive consultation exercises with community groups and agencies and individuals to develop a community charter for the Burn, which focuses on areas local communities have identified as priorities for their own social, environmental and economic well-being and future sustainability. Now, the draft of this charter is online, and you can see it in the website burncharter.ie or on the Burn Bio website as well. And the outcomes of this process are integrated into what we do in the Geopark. So the latest development, which has helped us focus our partnerships and program, is now the LIFE program. And you'll have some information, very brief information, on the LIFE project in your pack. And our funding is given under the LIFE policy and governance strand. So the focus of this funding is for a demonstration project combining social and economic benefits with environmental benefits and the integration of tourism policy into environmental policy. Now, as the Mayor already mentioned, we have an excellent example here already in how this happened with the Burn Life project in the farming community. And as I mentioned, it grew from 20 farmers to 230 farmers. It's now financed by the Department of Agriculture, and it's positioned to influence future policy on farming and protected landscapes. And as mentioned, it achieved a European Diploma for Protected Areas, which also recognises our work to date on sustainable tourism. And one of the recommendations as well was to continue that work in sustainable tourism. So what are we trying to achieve with GeoparkLIFE? The two outcomes that we really need is a model for sustainable tourism destination development achieved by balancing conservation and tourism through partnership. The partnership element of this is really important. But the other important element is that it can be transferred to other destinations. So those of you who are here representing other destinations, this project should hopefully give some guidance and assistance in the development of sustainable tourism in your destination as well, a transferable model. And it has to show measurable environmental, social and economic benefits. It has to show that these are real benefits. And this measurement will provide us with knowledge, with credibility and with influence into the future. If we can show in very clear ways that there are direct benefits for this form of tourism, then we can walk the talk. The actions that we're doing, there are 3 areas that we're focusing on. We want to develop a critical mass of businesses practicing sustainability in the region. And this we're going to try and do by developing sustainable codes of practice in 10 core areas, providing training, which is being provided by our partners as well as other experts then, in not only external experts, but experts within the community as well, to meet these practices and codes of practices. We will be doing business planning and target marketing, packaging, bundling, networking in a whole range of different areas. Benchmarking, as I said, is going to be hugely important. The measurement will be very important. We're going to encourage people to take on third-party certification as much as possible. And of course, the membership of BEN and networking and that whole concept of working together, we really want to grow this. We're also looking at sites and monuments in the landscape. We will be identifying good demonstration sites in various zones throughout the Burn, because anybody who has experience of the Burn realizes that the East Burn is very different from the West Burn. The North Burn has its own personality and it was quite distinctive from the personality of the South Burn as well. We have to take this into consideration. And these demonstration sites will address access issues, capacity, interpretation, management and monitoring. So the field trip tomorrow is going to kind of give you a taste of, we'll show you some of these locations, etc., and also some of the businesses that we're working with in terms of developing sustainability. And the third item is we wanted to create long-term conservation management models involving partnerships between agencies, community groups, and local tourism businesses. We're very fortunate here that we have a conservation voluntary group, which is run by Burn Bio, and we also have a lot of conservation activism amongst the BEN partners as well. So we want to tap into all of that and to see how we can create a model for future management of our resource that involves everybody in the community. So as I said, the partnership aspect of these actions is paramount, and it is partnership between landowners, communities, businesses, agencies, universities, and various interest groups. So we're building GeoparkLIFE on a base of several years of collaboration and trust, of give and take. It has been a long-term investment on the part of the businesses that have been involved with us and the various individuals and groups who have journeyed along the way. These are busy individuals with many responsibilities who gave of their time, creativity and energy. They're taking a very responsible and critical role in the process. We've drawn heavily on the resources and in-house expertise of Clare County Council. I mean, the amount of help we've gotten from the planning section, the environmental section, the tourism enterprise department, the roads departments. The councillors have been incredibly supportive, and you can see by the mayor how informed they are of what we're trying to do and where we're trying to go. And thank you very much for passing our budgets every year as well, and that's a big help. We also thank the local area staff, for the office staff who give us huge support. Fáilte Ireland has given us the funding we needed to achieve with some very, very important key developments with the network, with heritage trails, with our transport programme. Shannon Development, they're no longer with us, but while they existed, they stayed with us right through the lean years when the crisis hit and budgets were really tenuous, and they provided the funding to keep us going, along with Clare County Council, obviously, in the Geological Survey of Ireland. They got us involved in Interreg projects, and their support baton has actually been picked up by Fáilte Ireland now, thankfully. As mentioned before, the Geological Survey of Ireland is a key resource behind the Geopark, and they also gave us the support we needed too during the lean times. The MPWS and NMS, that's the National Monument Service, have steered us, guided us, and with the OPW provided resources in 2 funding areas, this LIFE programme and the earlier NDP programme. The Heritage Council has supported the research for us, and also with the Burn Charter process, which was an invaluable process for us to go through, and they're following up and supporting this programme as well. UCD and NUIG are providing a range of academic research and expertise. which can only really be found, I suppose, in the halls of the academia. And it'll be very interesting to see how that can be transferred into practical levels really on the ground. And whilst they're not part of our current funding support, I have to acknowledge the support of Clare Local Development Company through funding research and mentoring at a very critical juncture in our transition from Burn Connect into GeoparkLIFE. We were also very fortunate to link up with the University of Michigan MBA program through local businessman Peter Curtin. And we availed of the talents of 6 excellent minds to produce a marketing strategy for the Geopark. We also attracted funding from Interreg Northern Periphery Programme for 2 projects, which kept funds flowing for a number of years as well. Now, the resources, I suppose, the human resources are important as well. I'm the manager of the project and I'm employed now by Clare County Council. I think I was one of the last people to get in before the shutters shut down on all of the public sector employees. CLDC and the LIFE project have provided funding to contract Tina O'Dwyer, my colleague Tina, and she is a huge help in the LIFE programme, and as the members of Ben will know, she provides an incredible support structure for them and great coordination facilities as well. Dr. Eamon Doyle has been employed through grant aid from the Geological Survey, and Eamon takes care of all of the Geopark activities, from what you see on the ground to the various information resources, archival research, etc. He does an awful lot of work. Siobhan O'Brien has been with us through the Interreg programme, and Natasha has been with us with the Job Bridge programme. So this is how we've managed to be able to get some human resources into the project, which are really, really important, because without those skills and creativity and commitment, it would be very, very difficult to implement these things. So that's an issue that people have to consider as well. So now we're here on the brink of a new stage of this journey, and we have invited all of you here today to be part of the process. We would really appreciate your input to help us make this particular LIFE programme into a programme that not only benefits this region, but is a transferable model that can work elsewhere. We will be asking if it's possible to make sustainability the core of all we do in destinations. Could Ireland become a genuinely green destination? Slovenia has taken the green banner and really run with it from the departments right down to the grassroots business. And can we even imagine a Wild Atlantic Way, which is actually an interconnected chain of sustainable destinations? Why not? Can we mainstream sustainability so that it becomes the norm and not the niche? And we want to know, can we feed this concept into our new tourism policy and into all the local and regional development plans? Now, the Department of Agriculture have actually taken that step. The Agriculture, Food and Marine's mission statement is to lead the sustainable development of the agri-food and marine sector and to optimise its contribution to national and economic development and the natural environment. This is the Department of Agriculture, Food and the Marine. Why not the Department of Tourism? We have 3 very inspiring international speakers here today, and we have a room full of very experienced and creative people and a lot of young people with new ideas. It would be very interesting to see what emerges when we put our heads together. So thank you very much for your attention, and I really look forward to the rest of this day, and I hope you all participate as much as you possibly can in the process. So thank you.